I'll switch over the view again because this took longer than I thought it would. I was gonna make all the for some reason it decided to group everything inside of this object, and I kind of need to get rid of those groups so I can just expand this down to it's a compound path. No, it's not a compound path anymore. It looks so stupid. Object, expand. No, didn't work. So I suppose I need to do that and then that, and then for these, I can't even be bothered to explain what I'm doing right now. I'm just making it so that I can just get this down to the simpler shapes that the SVG exporter can understand. That's the path I want. Good. I think that should do it. Pick this guy, export selection. Sailor, go away. No. Nobody likes you. Naturally, Illustrator. Export. Yes. Sailor. Oh no, I saved my... What is this? The SVG file. Delete everything, start over. Here we go. Look at the sailor. Woo! And it's so high resolution and everything. A lot of triangles, but whatever. Don't care. So now that we have some sailor graphics in here, we can make a little test sailor object, which is going to have a circle collider and a rigid body. We have the sailor right here and the graphics. This should be at 0, 0, 0. which is related to the parent. Yes. I think it's a little bit big. I don't know what you think. I'm gonna have to make this sailor like about that size maybe. It's really small though. And then we do the same thing we did with the boats, that we kind of twist them up so that they are facing the camera. I think that's the idea anyway. I think I'm gonna have to add some kind of zooming or something. They are, like, I knew they were gonna be small, but I didn't think they were gonna be quite this small. I'm sorry that I had you so you can see what I was doing. I didn't think they were gonna be this small. Like, look at this. It's tiny. And I know, like, I was talking about how tiny they were gonna be the entire time. And here I am, surprised how tiny they are. Not a smart man. Let's add a little sailor controller. Open that guy. So this is going to have some slight duplication with the boat controller, but don't really care. Boom. Got a little sailor guy right here. I think it's the collision thing for the sailor is much too big. Radius like that, 0.17. Let's make it 0.2. Where are the snakes? Snakes are right here, man. It's too big still. That sailor needs to be smaller. Or everything needs to be bigger, I guess. I suppose I could make the boats slightly bigger. Nice fat sailors. Can I make this boat bigger? Will that destroy everything forever? It's scaling fine. And I think the physics are actually following along with it. That's interesting. I mean, obviously I need to adjust the C position of this boat because having it intersect the surface like that is not optimal. I think the collision box is actually smaller than it should be. I'm torn. Maybe that's a little bit too small. Make the boat 50% bigger. Feels like it was that size before. I'm sure it wasn't though. These islands aren't really doing it for me. Mostly annoying. I'm gonna put this over here in the corner where it will do no harm. I'd rather this be on the open ocean. It is scaling the collider. That's useful. And I actually got stuck in myself that time. Oh, it's because the boat is in the center of everything, making things break. Okay, here we go. Showtime. So having the boats be this big, it's not gonna work really, because you can't really wrap yourself around them. I also realize I have a bunch of angular drag on the boat. Okay, let's go back to basics. 1, 1, 1. Where'd you go, boat friend? A lot of stuff going on. Were they really this tiny? Damn it. I'm the worst sea snake. Look at him go. Okay, that's why I had the some angular damping on them, because the way they turn is that they will try to face the direction they want to be going. But there's no, like, they're not slowing down their turning speed as they're approaching that target. So if they're really off, they'll just keep picking up speed until they loop around, and then they'll just keep going. Right now, this game is not my friend. I'm gonna make the boats bigger. Say I make the boat 70% larger. That's a nice round number. That was not the slider I wanted to be pulling on. There we go. Actually, let's make it 0. That's close enough. Scale. Sure, apply. I do need some angular drag though. Let's say 1. Feels like a good number. I'm hoping it would be easier to wrap yourself around them if I make them slightly bigger too. Actually, no. Because of the turning. It's never good, is it? Come here, boat. I am your worst nightmare. I am snake. Okay. Do over. Let's try that again. Get out of my way, sailor. The phrase you use less often than you'd like, even though I technically live by the ocean. There's not a lot of sailors here that I run into, at least. I'm going to try this with the controller because I'm not exactly satisfied with the way this is working at this very moment. I think one thing that I need to do is that I need to mess with the front of the snake and make it sharper, kind of. No, you can't even. Oh my god. Nothing's working. I am maybe a tiny little bit frustrated right now. I wish there's a way I could figure out to clamp the amount you're like the absolute maximum turning radius would be nice to have some control over. Still really pinchy, which annoys me. That's the thing that makes it super hard to turn, is that it doesn't go like the shape it makes when it's turning is come on, Photoshop. So instead of doing that and then going a circle, it does this, which just wreaks havoc with everything. So maybe I have one thing I could use for this. That might make my life quite a bit easier. Visual Studio. I'm gonna try and hack it. This will be fun because I need to deal with this because it's super frustrating to play right now. And I made this game. I should be able to put up with it. Snake controller. Hinge. Use limits. I want every hinge to use limits. If this is the first segment, I want hinge limits. I need to look at the documentation for this. Unity, what is this? Hinge joint 2D. Right, I need the scripting API. Limits. Oh, stop it, you. Let's say we have a max of 5. Minus 5. What now? Use object initializer. What does it mean? Okay. Do I have to? Probably not. Hinge limits. Although I could do it this way then. Which I suppose is nice. So this will make it so that the snake will not turn sharper than 5 degrees per segment, which might be like it's hit its tail somehow. Okay, that did nothing. If we set it to 1 degree. It's still alarmingly scrunched up. I don't know what's going on right here. Let's not do that. Can maybe do the last one. This is not what I wanted to deal with right now, but here we are. Use limits. This makes it kind of want to straighten itself out somehow. More, please. More. You are breaking my heart right now, Physics Engine. I wanted to glitch out again. That was beautiful. There you go. Yes. I have no idea how these limits work, but they're not doing what they need to do. So that's not going to, I was hoping that would be like a quick fix, but I don't think it is. What if I set them to 0 for everything? I guess that's what they are set to by default. Come on, break. Here we go. Yes. I don't understand why it does that. Like it's trying to resolve. It's not good. It's not good at all. I'm not even touching the controls right now. This is beautiful. Look at it go. I'm just going to restore order. Here. What if snakehead? Add physics 2D. Then we made this a polygon collider instead. With all these. It is kind of important that this is actually, what's the word? Symmetric. I want to see what that does. That seems quite a bit bigger than I thought it'd be. But okay. This whole like curling up code is also making things break in non-good ways. Okay, it's the wrong side. That's what's going on. That's slightly surprising to me, actually. Why is it so big? It's like not at all the shape it ends up being. I don't fully understand why that is. I mean, there are many things I don't understand, but that is one of them. Because I think one of the things that are happening to this is that there's the joint between the very first segment and the segment behind that. The very first segment is just the circle. head radius. Oh, that's what's going on. So the segment width is what? 0.2, so it's 0.1 radius. Okay. Per usual, I don't exactly know what I'm doing right now, but we're all friends here. I want something like that. This doesn't really... What? I suppose one thing I could look at is the relative. If I can get this to get the scrunched up thing going, because you can see the little point here is the. If I go forward, you can see the red line. You can see that it turns more than I would like it to. I can look at the relative angle between the first, relative rotation between the first segment and the second segment, and stop you from turning more that direction if the big difference is too big. I think that's what I'm going to have to do, which that limiter thing was kind of doing before, but it wasn't really working. So, well, I think we'll have to do that. There are so many things I need to do that are not that. Yeah, now it's in a messed up state. If you can see this, but the see that's forward, that red line. So it's like it should be like out this way, kind of, but it's turned, and it wants to straighten itself, but it can't really because it's like I don't even know what it's doing. Or maybe yeah, I think this segment right here is colliding with like the second and the third segment. Like here. This is the, I don't know if you can see this edge right here. That's the actual outer bound of that's why it's acting so weird. I need to make this ever so slightly longer. This is going to break everything. I don't like it. So I think now the head actually spins freely. Yeah. Which is bad for a whole number of reasons, but that should mean that if we implement our own limiting thing, we can see that it's working. I I'm not loving this right now. I'm just going to commit everything, write a really bad commit message. But I think it's something I'm going to have to deal with. I could just kind of semi-avoid it, but that's what I've been doing this entire time, and it's not working. Like, the controls get super annoying because I can't stop it from doing like the twisty thing where it's pinching and it's turning. And that is not something we want. So, fixed update, Snake controller. We have the head angle, and we have the, what should you call that? Let's call it neck angle. And that is segments number 0, rotation. I'm going to barf a bunch of numbers into the output. Yep. That's good. And then I can do if delta angle is bigger than, I'm going to name this something that it's not quite, but public float maximum turn angle. That's really good. That's what it actually is. Let's say that is 15 degrees. We're just going to zero out the steering if it goes above that threshold. That's not working. I suppose when I reset everything, I set the body's rotation to 0. But it's, I'm gonna move this after that little piece of math. and we'll see. It's doing something. It's just not doing what I want it to. If delta angle is bigger than maximum internal angle and steer input is bigger than 0, then we'll do one for the other way. If delta angle is smaller than negative maximum turn angle and see what that does. I think I need to take a break pretty soon because my brain is not doing what I'd like it to do. It's not working at all. I think there's also the problem of like inertia, because me stopping the turning speed will make the head turn a little bit more still. I'm gonna bring back the print here. I think this is a compound fucking mess of things being not correct. I think one of the problems is that the front circle in the snake is kind of like a bicycle wheel right now, so that can just spin freely, which makes looking at the relative angles kind of unreliable, because that could just be pointing any other way, and just like sliding the head along something will make it really want to rotate. So I think the thing I did now was I replaced that first joint. So instead of having a hinge joint, I put a fixed joint. I think that's one way of doing it. So we're going to try that and see if that makes things more reliable. So if this is the first segment, we're going to do some stuff. We are going to destroy the hinge, and then we are going to that's going to be a new fixed joint 2D. Is that the way you do it? I've never done this way or done this before. Has 0 parameters. Okay, so I just do that. Then I suppose I have to configure this somehow. Segment, oops. I'm going to try that. See if that gets configured correctly. So this is all boring. This has a fixed joint 2D. If I try to turn now, those two are just solidly connected. That is good. So now this number that you can't see that is scrolling in the debug log is always going to be 0, because those two segments are in fact attached to each other. But if I look at the second segment in the neck, I should get something at least. A really sharp turn. It's like 40 degrees, like stupidly sharp, 50. I think I'd probably want to clamp this to like, what the hell did I name that? Maximum turn angle, 15 degrees. That's probably good. I do not fully understand the complexities of this. Because in my world, I am comparing how turned the head is compared to how turned the second segment in the neck is. But it's like it's being normalized somehow. Am I normalizing this somewhere? Steer input. Whole multiplication. Oh, it's probably because that it is actually going down to 0. Now I got some good news. Niklas has some kind of music for me, and I'm just gonna listen to this on the stream. think I have it set up so you can hear too. This is amazing. I bet that was really hard work to play. Though I suspect he did that in multiple takes. I don't think that's one take. But it might be. That is something. So what I don't understand is that if I turn now, we can see it's all going the way it should be. And then it kind of snaps over, stops me from turning for a little bit. I'm turning max now. And then maybe I shouldn't be looking at the rotation of I don't really understand where that downward force is coming from. Because that is the steering input. Steer input. Look at this, steer input is in local space, so I can't do this. I can, however, do this. So it's dependent on the actual rotation of the head because it's a world vector. It's still behaving a little bit weirdly. What if maximum turn angle 3? Hey, Visual Studio, wake up. Ong Po Wati, love you. Thanks for following. Do that. See, See if that makes any difference whatsoever. And this is drawn as what? Array. I think I'm not doing this in a clever way. So the maximum turn angle would be 15. What if we did it? Something like math. Okay, what? So now the turn rate limitation stuff is just entirely disabled. Do you see what it's doing? So that was coming from something else. A snappy thing. I have absolutely no idea what's going on right now. It is like Visual Studio. Let's just take a moment and turn off Visual Studio because that is really behaving strangely right now. The stream is very empty right now. Sorry about that. And get stuff started again. See if that fixes the Visual Studio issue. I'm a little bit distressed. To put things mildly. Visual Studio's back. Look at this. This is not the version of the code I saved. That is what is on disk though. So that means we can put down the bizarre clamping of the turning thing to just Visual Studio having some kind of meltdown. That is something. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this properly. I am going to look at for like the 5 first segments. Bendiness. Delta angle segments I and segments I plus 1. This will give us a number of how much the front of the snake is bending. Right, we want to actually use the rotation here. We just want to use the elements. Then we can scale the turn input accordingly. So if I make it into like a little spiral thing. What the actual hell is going on? Like that. And we have, you can't see the output, but that's like 38 degrees. Or negative 38. If I kind of untwist myself slightly. That's something. Is it doing it again? Good Lord. Like, why are you? There are many things I do not understand. the behavior of Visual Studio right now is one of them. Var turn power scaling is bendiness. I'm on to you, Visual Studio. It's not saving the file. Which would make sense that Unity is not actually updating. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. I've never seen this before. I guess I'm going to have to restart my entire computer. Absolutely beautiful. But I do need to take a break regardless. So no, that's not being saved at all. Sea snake. Thing is exploding. Can I show the game? How far did I get? I'll do that once I get back. I think I'm going to need to take a little break and just restart my computer because this is not not the way it's supposed to be. Visual Studio not being able to save the source file, and it's not even giving an error message. It's just not saving. It is showing the little star on the file name telling you that it's not saved, which is something. Like at least it's not pretending to save and not actually saving. So that's, I mean, there are grades of how messed up this is, but I'm going to take a break for like 20 minutes, half an hour, 3 or 4 weeks. We'll see. And then I'll be back with renewed strength and then do a couple more hours. Goodbye for now.